Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, it's the end of the year, and now we get a chance to take a look and see how 2023 treated us. And we're going to start here financially. Uh, like I told you this morning, Biden was out chastising the media for not reporting how great his economy is correctly, right? It's probably why 14% of the public thinks they're doing better here in December than they were back in January. 46% think they are doing worse. And by basic math, that means 40% either are clueless, which I'm going to bet that's a lot, okay, or are treading water, okay? And if you're doing just as well now as you were in January, okay, you made it through 2023. That's good. None of us ever want to tread water. We want to try to do better. But if you survived this year of the Biden economy, that's a good thing. Okay. We can only hope for better times going forward. So that being said, we all know the stories on how Joe is telling us all the time about the economy's getting better, inflation's going down, et cetera, right? Okay. Now, of course, that's a misnomer. The inflation rate is going down. Inflation is not. Okay. When they say, oh, inflation's only at 3.9%, that's 3.9% more than it was last year. And when they go, well, it was at 9%, now it's 3.9. Well, yeah, if we were on a steady growth of 9% inflation, fine. But from that 9%, add another 3.9%, and that's where we are now. Okay, just so you understand that. I know I've mentioned that many times, but I still get a lot of questions about it or comments, and people are saying, well, things are coming down. Okay. No, they're not. But the fun part is they pick and choose. They cherry pick the numbers on what they're going to tell you. And so after doing that video this morning, I did a little exercise for my house. And I wanted to see what our personal inflation rate was. Okay. Going through what our bills are and where we were in January and where we were or where we are today. And it's something I'd encourage you guys to do too. Okay. It's a part of financial planning, if you will. The first thing I started with was food. And if you remember at the beginning of the year, we picked 10 items to track 10 specific items at the same store, and we were tracking them every month. Yes, I will admit I slacked off and forgot about doing it in October and November. Okay, but I've got the spreadsheet for the rest of it. I'm going to show you here. We don't need to go through all the pictures of everything again. So let's start with food. On the 10 items, the unscientific study that we did, and take a look. So let's look at this. Bread, been the same all year, $1.32. Never dipped, never rose, never nothing. Milk, $3.16. Good. It's lower than it was in January at $3.48. So milk's come down. Take that. Eggs, the savior to Joe's inflation rate, at least on food. 18 eggs in January. Remember what we were going through last year at Christmas time with eggs. Was $6.04, and everybody's freaking out over the cost of eggs. Eggs are now $3.48 for 18 eggs. It's still almost $1 higher than it was last month when it was $2.52. Okay. Butter down 50 cents from $4.48 to $3.98. Been $3.98 for the last 10 months, so we're there. Coffee started the year at $10.92, dropped to $9.92, starting to go back up at $10.24. Okay, again, this is Walmart brand coffee, nothing fancy. Buying on a budget here. Lettuce, iceberg lettuce, head lettuce is down from $1.98 to $1.72. Okay, we'll take it. Maybe you're growing some lettuce, inside now or whatever, which you can. But as a whole, a lot of people still buying a head of lettuce in the store. But then we get to the other side. the stuff that's going up. Apples. Apples were $1.83. Honeycrisp apples were $1.83 at the beginning of the year. They're now $1.97 for freaking apples. Plant an apple tree. Get a big one. Okay. Ground beef. The proteins that they don't want us to have. The cow farts, right? Ground beef at the beginning of the year was $3.76. Ground beef now is $3.97. Okay. It's up a quarter. No big deal. At least it's not the $4.96 it was in the middle of summer this year when we were paying $5 a pound for 73.27 ground beef. Yeah. It's still higher than it was last year, but ground beef is a good example where when they talk about year over year numbers or something, inflation doesn't go like this. It goes like this, okay, or like this, either way. It's a curve. It's not a straight line. And, somebody could take a look at the picture and go, well, look, ground beef is only up 21 cents since January. That's not bad. Until somebody says, well, yeah, but I had, a whole bunch of meat that I had to buy in June when it was up $1.20 a pound from where it was at the beginning of the year. So playing into this a little bit. Okay. Chicken thighs, another protein. Okay, here we go again. $2.56 at the beginning of the year, $3.48 at the beginning of the year. If I do the math, that's about a 40% increase from beginning of the year to the end of the year. And if you take a look at the chart, ground beef has been there chicken thighs have been at $3.48 for 9 months. Okay. Finally, a 2-liter bottle of Coke. Yep. Well, that's gone from $1.88 to $1.96. All right. So still up. So overall, on our little non-scientific experiment here, those 10 items collectively are down 7.75% for the year. And Biden was going to go, look, woohoo! Mind you, their overall groceries, the way they do it, is up about 3%. Okay. If you take eggs out, just to give you an idea, if you take eggs out of the equation here, the prices are only down 1.25%. 6.5% difference is what eggs did. Just giving you this. But look at the trend. Look in the lower right-hand corner there. Month over month, groceries were up, 0.8% from where they were in November. We're on that trend back north again. Okay. So take a look at your grocery bill. And you can go off of this if you're lucky to be one of those people that saves receipts and can compare. But y'all know what you spend on groceries. People buy the same stuff every week. Thursday's spaghetti night, right? A lot of people have family like that. Okay. If you can look at what you spent in January, look at what you spent now, you can compare food. But obviously food isn't the only thing that comes into inflation. So I wanted to check out some of the other things. We all put gas in the car, unless you're one of these idiots who buys an EV. Okay. December 29th of 2022, gasoline was $3.18 a gallon. As of today, the national average for gas is $3.12 a gallon. So gas has come down 6 cents this year, 1.8%. Okay. It's down. I'll take that. Okay. At least we're not paying the $5 a gallon like we were parts of last year. And again, this is depending on where you are. Okay. My electricity bill, one of my other bills, of course, I looked at my bill. Last year, I was paying 10.9 cents per kilowatt hour. This year, I'm paying 10.9 cents per kilowatt hour. I can't just look at the dollar amount for the bill because did I use my air conditioning? Did I use my heater more? Remember last year's cold spell? Okay, around this time, we were all heating a lot more. Here it's going to be in the 60s again today. Last year it was 11. I'm not going to be using as much heat today. What did you turn the lights on, off, whatever? So the base cost on electricity, at least for me, stayed the same. Fortunately, a lot of our electric here comes from hydropower, and it's not like rain got any more expensive going in the lake. Okay. But then we get the other ones. Mrs. P's health insurance premium went up 5% for 2024. Got that bill the other day. Okay. Nothing more than regular checkups, no surgeries or anything like that. Nope, but her premiums went up 5%. My car insurance, no claims, no tickets, no nothing, went up 6.5% for 2024. Okay. I won't know my home insurance until April because that's when we bought our house and it's an annual policy. Okay. My internet bill, my phone bill, those stayed the same. I don't have a gas bill. I don't have a water bill. Don't have a sewer bill. Don't have a trash pickup bill. So I can't mention those. But those are things that you need to look at. You know, when they calculate inflation and they're talking about, well, gee, the price of rental cars and the price of hotels and the price of airline tickets are cheaper, so that's bringing inflation down. How many people going on vacation lately? So, you know, airplane tickets, car rentals, and hotels probably doesn't affect your household budget. Might. Okay. So you look at all this, and if you go on the basis of this, I'd probably fall in that 40%. The people whose life didn't get worse, but didn't get better, right? Based on expenditure. Until you look at the other side of the coin. My income this year went down 16.7%. Why? Well, the industry I'm in and how I get paid. All right. If a company's hiring me to find them a new employee, gee, we know how that's going with unemployment. The true 7% rate that we have in unemployment, not the bullshit rate that they try to put through on us. Okay. U6 is accurate employment. Don't let them tell you anything else. Companies aren't hiring as much. If they are, they're keeping it in-house rather than hiring somebody or bringing on somebody like me, contracting somebody like me to go help them find it. And then even if they are, they're a lot harder on their negotiations with what they're going to pay me. Okay. So yeah. So if you go into that, well, then all of a sudden my spending power, even though my bills stayed static, my spending power went down 16.7%. Yeah. Okay. It's like all of a sudden, instead of working Monday through Friday, I worked till 10 o'clock on Friday morning, and then I stopped getting paid. Okay. You're going to work those last 6 hours of the week for free? Pretty much how my paycheck worked out. So you look at that. Now, again, my situation's different than everybody else's. Okay. So you've got to figure it out. I don't have to worry about my rent going up because I own my house. Okay. You know, our cars are paid for. Don't have to put those in my budget. Not that your car payment's going to go up or down. That's a fixed thing. But then you look at something like credit cards, and everybody has heard all year about interest rates going up. And that's more than on just mortgages or car notes or bank-to-bank lending rates or, CD rates are up. It's also on things like credit cards. This is why I say all the time, try to get your bills paid off. Because, sure, I lost 16+% in income this year, but I don't have the bills to worry about it. Because I'll give you this. Let's just use hypothetical numbers here. Let's say last January I was making $1,000 and I was paying, the typical car payment, rent, groceries, electric bill, phone bill, whatever it would be. And all of a sudden, I get a 16% pay cut to now. So now I'm bringing in $840. My groceries have stayed the same. My car payments stayed the same. My electric bills stayed the same. If I'm renting, my rent has probably gone up. My insurance has gone up. But my pay has gone down. So now I got to pay all those bills with less money. That's the part they don't look at. They try to cherry pick. Well, the prices are down this much. My paycheck is down this much. It doesn't work that way. If you get the bills paid off as best you can, then all of a sudden the lack of income isn't as painful. And that's prepping for a financial disaster. Because I'm telling you this, I'm not looking forward to the amount of emails that I'm going to get here in about a week or two, people saying, I was just laid off. Because we're already starting to see some big layoffs happen. We're already starting to see companies close. If you don't have any bills, you can weather the storm. Now, I get the fact that people go, I still owe $100,000 on my house. Okay, it's not like, you can't use the Dave Ramsey theory and go, well, sell the house. No, you got to live somewhere, and you're not buying another house for $100,000. Okay. I mean, unless it's going to be on the worst side of town in a rickety shack that's fallen down. Okay. So you just work on paying that off. The cars, pay those off. Make double payments if you can. Well, you can. Your credit cards, do whatever you can to get those down to zero and don't use them anymore. And I know that's a pain in the ass right now because how expensive everything's gotten. People are using their credit cards to make ends meet. Collectively, if we all want to survive this coming storm, we have to tighten our belts. If you can make more money, great. If you have the ability to take on a part-time job and make a couple of extra bucks on the weekend, great. But plan accordingly for a pay cut. It's coming. You know damn well going into election season, we're going to hear all the lies over and over and over again. Because remember, Joe thinks the economy's great. Joe thinks Bidenomics works. The Democrats are all like lemmings to a cliff going, bobblehead snowflakes. And all we're going to hear next year is how good everything is as it gets progressively worse. Eventually, the country is going to find the pain that it's going to take to make a change. When 14%, small as that number is, still think they're better off this year than they were last year, I'm guessing they're either government employees or they work for the defense industry, because the rest of us have been bent over pretty hard by this administration. Hopefully, thank God, we only have one more year of this idiot, but it's not just him. That's it. Dan Bongino had a great comment. He goes, Republicans aren't the solution, but Democrats are certainly the problem. He's right. The solution is for us to do exactly what we talk about doing, being self-sufficient, insulating ourselves against their bad decisions, both sides of them, because it doesn't mean a hill of beans to them if you don't have food on the dinner table. But it certainly means a whole hell of a lot to your spouse, to your kids, to your parents. Do what you can, anything you can, while we still have an iota of normalcy in this country. Because when all goes to hell next year, and it's coming, don't let anybody tell you it's not, okay? You need to have yourself insulated from as many problems as possible. If you know what your personal inflation rate is, you look down at the numbers and go, okay, this is how it's going to affect us. That's when you can start making plans and create a solution. We'll see y'all tonight.